What is going on, folks? Welcome to another live stream. Great to have you here. My name is Pete Moriarty. I'm just going to go ahead and get my setup all checked here. Yes, we are live. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome. We help small business owners systemize, organize, and scale using Google Workspace and other business technology tools. And we specialize in the Google world, but we love working with all kinds of small business tools. And we love helping small business owners, which if you're a subscriber to our YouTube channel, you'd know we've got nearly 50,000 business owners, IT managers, IT leaders, and technology enthusiasts subscribe to the channel, which is awesome. So if you're part of our community, thanks for being here. If you're not yet subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Now, I'm coming to you live from Mexico, actually. I'm in Mexico City tonight, so it's nighttime for me when usually we're streaming in, I guess it's afternoon in Sydney at the moment. but here we are. We are doing a stream on the road, as I like to do wherever I am in the world, and we're going to be covering all of your questions. So if you want to drop a question in, you can do that. Head along to ask.itgenius.com, and at ask.itgenius.com, you can drop in a question live. Yeah, from there, I'll answer it live for you, hopefully, or if you're on the YouTube stream, jump on and say hello. Make sure you mention where you're watching from, and we'll be able to say hello if you're watching with me live. Let me know, drop in the chat, let me know any comments on any of the questions that I answer, and if you've got a specific question that you'd like me to answer for you, you can ask that at ask.itgenius.com. And I'm going to try and put the link in there. I can't always get my streaming comments to work, but let me see if I can get them working today. Where's the little button here? Somewhere. Comments, interview, chat. No, that's maybe not it. No, you know what? I can't even see the chat options here. So, I found the comments button. Okay. Let's see if I can add this this URL in here. ask.itgenius.com. Let's see if that comes up on YouTube. Hey, there we go. Okay, great. So you can click that button there. And of course, if you'd like to connect with me directly, just head to moriarty.co. Or if you want to remember that even easier, you can just go to peter.tv. I paid a lot of money for that domain and then never ended up using it. But anyway, here we go. Let's jump into our questions, huh? So Anonymous asks, I just bought a Chromebook to study for my CCNA, which is a network engineering certification. And I can't even download the flashcard app my instructor recommended or Packet Tracer. I think I want to install Linux and get maybe get rid of the Chromebook OS. Do you think that's a good idea? Okay. So if you're doing any kind of heavy duty network engineering, Chrome is maybe not the right operating system for you. You can certainly excuse me, let's try that again. You can certainly install Linux on a Chrome device, and then from the command line, you can boot any Linux app that you want. You've got a few choices in environments there, I think, and it effectively gives you all the freedom of a Linux machine for you to install whatever apps that you want. But number one, you've got to be a bit geeky to do that, or at least have some time to follow instructions online. And number two, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a Chromebook or a Chromebox, because if you're not using Chrome OS and you're instead using Linux, I kind of got to ask, what's the point? Now, if you're booting into Chrome because you like the security of Chrome and you just want to use Linux for like one app, sure, fair enough. That probably makes sense. But if you are going to be working in Linux apps all day long and you want the flexibility of Linux OS, then probably just flash your machine with Linux, or buy an alternative machine and put Linux on it. So for this person who said they've got specific apps that are not working on Chrome OS, I'm assuming they're needing to connect to like a serial port, or at least a USB that's connecting to a serial port on some hardware. That sounds like it's not quite the right device for that job. So I would say that Chrome is good for certain things. It's not good for everything. It's good if you're a university student, you're mostly working online, and you're probably working with the Google Workspace ecosystem, Docs, Drive, Calendar, Mail, because your school's providing it. or you're a remote worker and most of your work is on online apps, like you're using the Google Suite plus Slack, or maybe Dropbox, and you're using Xero online for your accounting, and you're using, I don't know, Zendesk for your ticketing system. Those apps all work fine online. Canva for graphic design, right? If you're primarily working in a web browser, then Chrome OS is wonderful because it's deeply secure, highly secure. There's next to no viruses or malware or exploits known. They have insane battery life and they've got reasonable prices as well. So Chrome is great for that situation. Not so great if you're a hardcore Linux network engineer or network engineer that needs to use Linux for your day-to-day job. All right, good question though. Lots of questions about Chrome OS on the channel. So next person asks, how do I access the Google Workspace Marketplace? Well, that's a good question. I believe you just Google it. I usually don't go directly to it, but let's try Workspace Marketplace. Here we go. Workspace.google.com/marketplace. And the Workspace Marketplace is your spot to access applications, add-ons, plugins for Google Workspace. And you'll see there's the recommended for Google Workspace program. This has been running for, I think, about a decade now, which is applications that have been vetted by Google. They're usually the applications that have become really popular, and they've become something that Google wants to promote to their users. Dialpad, we are a global partner for. Copper CRM, we are a global partner for. Loom Apps, we have a partnership with. RingCentral, we may have a partnership with. I'm not sure about that. We have a partnership with AO Docs. And I'm surprised that Hiver is not on the list here because we also have a partnership with them as well. But these are apps that Google recommends that you consider for your small business if you want to get things done, and you can read about them there. Now, when you go to roll out an application, you've actually got two different options here. You have the individual install button, which is going to install the app just for your account. But then you have the admin install as well. An admin install means that certain features of the application need to be deployed or can be deployed right across your domain, across your organization inside Google Workspace. And so in that case, doing an admin install means this is going to become available for all of the users in your domain. So be mindful if you want to click that admin install button that there may be pop-ups on your staff machines and they might not know what this application is. You can choose to switch applications like this on and off for certain organizational units in your admin panel. So that's one way of testing it if you want to test it for just a few people before rolling it out to absolutely everyone. But there you go. That's the marketplace. Lots of different options in there. The other way to get access to the marketplace or the tools in the marketplace is if I open up a document, and you can just go to doc.new to open a new document. Working away on my document here, if I go to extensions and then add-ons, you can see there's a get add-ons. Oops, let's try that again. If I go to extensions and then add-ons, you'll see there's a get add-ons button here. And this also brings up the marketplace. And specifically, it's going to look for applications that work with Google Docs. So you can see I've got options here for online signatures. There's a ChatGPT plugin. There's a few ChatGPT plugins. Document merge, form building applications. Lots of different options here to get more functionality out of your Google Docs. So there you go. That is the marketplace for Google Workspace. Great place to go to add additional functionality. And let me know what your favorite tools are. Drop it down in the comments below. I'd love to know, what are your favorite add-ons for Google Workspace? I've got to say, we use Dialpad every day in our business, calling our customers, receiving calls from our customers on our IT help desk. That's absolutely critical for us. We have a business phone system with a common phone number that works across our whole company, no matter where they are. So we've got a large team in the Philippines, and we've also got a small team in Australia as well. I tend to travel all around the world, and we can still dial from our business numbers wherever we are in the world, as long as we have an internet connection from our mobile or our computer. So great tool there. That's probably my number one out of the marketplace, but there's lots of good options there. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next question. Okay. So the next question is another one from Anonymous. Which Google Workspace plan is HIPAA compliant? And I really like this question because for those who are in the allied services, medical profession, or anything dealing with patient data, HIPAA compliance, or in Australia, we have Australian privacy principles, which is something that allied health professionals need to adhere to for compliance purposes, is something that takes a number of extra steps to protect confidential and personal information of either patients or people who are dealing with a health provider of some sort. Now, Google Workspace has a button that you can click to switch on HIPAA features. It doesn't necessarily make you HIPAA compliant. And this is the point in the video where I have to say, hashtag, I'm not a lawyer. I can't promise you that you'll be HIPAA compliant by taking any of my advice or suggestions here. But I would say do your own research, and I can at least point you in the right direction. And you should have someone who's a professional check off your work to make sure you actually are compliant. I can't say that, but a lawyer or someone who specializes in this can. But I believe the HIPAA button works for any plan. So let's go to Workspace HIPAA. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research here just to check it out, because from memory, you just have to click a button. Where is it? Let's say Google Workspace enable HIPAA. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Google Workspace, HIPAA included functionality. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so, I think my team might have to help me with this, and we'll re-release a video to the channel on whether or not there used to be a button that you could just click, and it would switch on a bunch of HIPAA features. But that doesn't actually necessarily make you completely HIPAA compliant. There are a number of additional steps that you should take to follow privacy guidelines to protect your customers, to protect your end users, and make sure that personal data is properly being protected. There is an administrator's guide for HIPAA compliance, and that outlines a number of steps recommended by Google to take in addition to clicking the button for HIPAA compliance in your admin panel. And what that then does is it just takes extra measures to lock down the account. Again, you should speak to a professional to double check the processes that you've put in place and the measures that you put in place to make sure that it is compliant in their opinion. But that's something for you to work out. Now, I'm going to triple check my admin panel here. We've got a comment here from Redeeming Love saying it's the client-side encryption that becomes an issue. If that's the case and you require client-side encryption, then you might need to, and I'm not a HIPAA expert, you might need to go up to the enterprise plan. I know that at least in Australia with Australian privacy principles, the best way to achieve compliance or to show that reasonable steps have been taken for compliance is to use the encryption features, additional security features that are available on the enterprise plans, like data loss prevention to protect someone's Medicare or social security number going in an email or going in a chat message somewhere in plain text. I'm going to go ahead and search my admin panel for HIPAA here and see if it... I don't think there is. HIPAA Business Associate Addendum. I wonder if Google have changed how this actually happens and we need to do it through an account manager. All right, I'm going to leave that question, but I'm sure my team will help me with research on that. Or if you're on the stream or on the chat, let us know what you know about this. Commenter Redeeming Love is saying Enterprise Plus. Yeah, that makes sense. $30 a month, but worth it for the extra coverage. Yeah, well, I mean, if you've got to be compliant, you've got to be compliant. That's It might be a little bit annoying to pay the extra fee, but if that's what's required, it's probably better than maintaining, or it's probably more cost effective than maintaining your own enterprise servers and enterprise infrastructure for that compliance. And the support and maintenance and staffing that goes with that is going to get prohibitively expensive pretty quickly. Okay, good question there. Thank you, Anonymous. All right, so next question, can I have Google Workspace with GoDaddy domain? Absolutely, yes. I won't go into detail on this one, but it doesn't matter where your domain name is registered. If you want to learn a bit more about domain names, DNS, web hosting, how they all work and talk to each other, you can go and watch probably one of the first videos I ever uploaded to my channel here over 10 years ago. If you go to the oldest channels there, where is it? Here we go. Explanation of domains, DNS, and web hosting. That's a 10-year-old video, one of our most popular ones, which is pretty funny. And it's a different version of me, but that's a good explainer of DNS, domain names, hosting, and how all that works in as much as possible layman's terms. But yes, you can register your domain name anywhere you want, and you can host your DNS, which is your settings for your domain name. You can host them wherever you want. There are 3 distinct services. Number 1 is domain name registration. Number 2 is your DNS hosting. And number 3 is your email hosting, which is Google Workspace. Okay, but they're all standard systems, so it doesn't matter where you register it. You can get it working. Anonymous asks, how many hours should I wait to see my Google Meet recordings in my Google Drive? That's dependent on how long your meeting was. Typically, if a meeting was about an hour long, I see the recordings come through in about 5 or 10 minutes in most cases. But every now and again, we have a really long meeting, like a 3-hour meeting or a 4-hour meeting, or maybe we even have a marathon where a meeting is kept open all day long because we're doing a full day of strategic planning. That can take a number of hours for that video to process, render, and be placed in your Google Drive, but you'll always receive an email notification into your inbox each time you have a meeting recorded and the render is finished. Now, there's not like a guaranteed time because Google need to use their servers in the background to do the rendering of the video. I guess maybe sometimes there's queues, or some days it's faster or slower than other days, depending on what their capacity is and how busy they are. But it generally happens pretty quickly. And so one of the things that I really like about it is when you have a meeting that has been recorded, it's actually going to be put onto your calendar as a link, basically. So if I open up my calendar here, go to today. I know the team had a huddle without me. I can go ahead and click on to the huddle event, and you'll see here any recordings from the event just automatically get added to the event after it's been concluded and the video has been finished and rendered. So that's an easy way to get access to the past recordings of a meeting. Just make sure the meetings are actually on your calendar, and then you can go there and check them out easily. Okay, great question though. You can always check your email as well. That's the other place to go ahead and look for it. All right, another basic question. Can Google Workspace host my website? The answer is kind of. Google have the ability to create a website within the Google Workspace ecosystem, and it's called Google Sites. Let me open that up and show you what that looks like. So if you go to, it used to be sites.google.com. I'm not sure if that's still the best URL, but let's check that. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. So if you head to sites.google.com, you'll see here, I've got a number of different sites that I've created. A lot of these are templates and testing sites, but I can click the blank site button and it's going to open up a new site for me. I've also got a number of templates here. And when you create a site, you can choose whether that's an internal site only, like an intranet, or if you want to publish that to the web and make it public to the internet. Now, I would only recommend you use Google Sites for your business website if you have zero budget, if you're a startup and you just need to get something out the door without the complication of building a site on WordPress or Wix or Squarespace or something else. It's very rudimentary. I don't think it looks really professional, but if you don't have anything right now and that's your first step to getting a website, sure, that might be a great way of doing it. My strong recommendation is if you're a serious business, you would want to be using WordPress, Squarespace, or Wix, or any of the other online website builders, creating a website there, and then you point your domain name to that website host, and hey presto, your site starts working. Now, can that website be hosted within Google Workspace? No. Google Workspace doesn't host WordPress sites. It doesn't host any third-party websites. It will let you create a Google site, which is, in a way helping you facilitate getting a site made, but it doesn't host website software for you. So if you want to use a website builder that's not Google Sites, you'll need to have another host to help you hosting that. Good question though, good question. All right, let's go to our next one. Okay, so this person asks, how to add contacts to Google Chat Spaces or direct messages, formerly Hangouts groups. I can't see the same interfaces you show and I don't have the plus button to add people. Please advise. I don't know exactly what this person's coming up against here, but what I do know is there are some quirks when you go to add people to a chat. So if I choose to create a space here, and if I go to create a direct message with someone, right? And let's say I create a direct message with Georgia. Now I've got to be careful that I don't expose anyone's information here, so I'm just going to go. Nope, I'm going to open up another one. Okay, cool. So I've got a chat open here with Jill. Oh boy, so here's where I'm going to make a liar out of myself, right? So if I try and start a conversation with Jill, there we go. Okay, cool. So it gives me the ability to add. So I'm going to click on New Chat. I'm going to start a conversation with Jill, and then I'm going to start adding some other people. So if I wanted to, I could add Georgia as well, and I can add Scott as well. Now, these are all people within my company. If I attempt to add someone who's outside my company, it's not going to let me. And that's because you can't do a group chat room with people across different domain names. And you used to be able to do that with Hangouts. Now, bear with me because this is potentially going to get a bit confusing. You can create a space, which is effectively a chat room, and add multiple people from outside your company into that chat space. So if I instead create a space and I'll say chat room, importantly, I need to tick this button, allow external members to join, and then I create it. I can invite external users. So I'm going to add my internal team here, and then I'm going to add an external user. Now notice it's going to come up in yellow here and say this is an external user. I can click that button and then I can add. Now the external user, it's just going to send them an invitation to join. So they'll get an email and they can choose to join if they wish to join. So it's a small distinction. I can't add multiple people to a direct message chat if they're outside the domain, but I can set up a chat room and have pretty much as many people as I want from inside my business and outside of my business, as long as I tick that button and make it an external available chat. Now, let me go and delete that room and get rid of that now. Now, this person has said they can't add contacts to Google Chat Spaces or direct messages. Well, that makes me curious if maybe there is a policy misconfiguration on the Google Workspace account, because I know that there are policy features that allow you to do certain lockdowns in Google Chat within Google Workspace. So let's head along to our admin panel. That's admin.google.com. And let's go and have a look at our chat settings and see if maybe there's something in there that might be interfering here. So I usually use search in the admin panel. It's the quickest way to get around. Okay, cool. So this is basically just switching chat on and off. That looks to be the only immediate option that we have there. Okay, cool. But it's taking me back to the main Google Chat. Okay, so we've got the option to manage spaces, smart features, history, history for spaces, auto deletion, chat file sharing, invitations. Can people send messages outside itGenius in chats and spaces? On. Now, it's possible that the person that's having this problem has this switched to off. If they have external chats switched to off, well, that would mean that they would not be able to initiate a new chat with someone outside the company. So that might be the thing that's holding them up. Let me see here. If internal, I don't see anything else that might restrict someone sharing internally. So to me, that looks like it's probably the only setting that might stop. Otherwise, maybe someone has the whole chat service switched off. I doubt that, because if they can actually like see the chat, they've probably got the chat service switched on. But anyway, that might be the issue there. Cool. That's a good question. Good challenge there. Okay. Good luck. Good luck with that one, Mr. or Miss Anonymous. Okay, I'm not able to receive emails from my Google Workspace account after reactivating it from being disabled. Can you help? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, I would first go through our troubleshooting guide for stopped emails. So if you go to our channel and you search, I don't know, maybe like broken or stopped. Here we go. Cool. So this is a good troubleshooting guide. We've got a few other troubleshooting guides on things like DNS to check, but our general troubleshooting guide covers all of the basics, like has your domain name been renewed? Is there, like a misconfiguration with your name servers? Is the account actually really active? Like you may think you've reactivated it, but I don't know, maybe there's a billing issue or something else, or another reason it's still restricted. If you need help or support investigating why your emails aren't working, whether it's potentially a DNS issue, a domain name issue, or if you've got a restriction on your account that Google have not lifted, then we can take care of some of that on your behalf. So head along to our website. You just go to itgenius.com, and from itGenius, you can select a service called Quick Fix. And our Quick Fix service is basically for when you've got something small that you need done quickly, and you can purchase it online. It's about $200, and you can start chatting to our team immediately once you procure this service. So on the thank you page of this form, you can start chatting to our team immediately. And if you want to have a chat to them right now, you can just pop in your details and have a chat to them now and explain what your problem is, and they can confirm to you whether or not we can help. But the kind of things that we typically do with a quick fix would be recovering a domain name that's been lost, helping to reactivate an account when Google's put a restriction on it and they haven't told the customer. If you've been locked out of your account, getting you back into the account, as well as all the standard consulting we do, onboarding and offboarding staff, engineering, connection consulting, all those kind of things. And we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of very happy customers. You can see there's literally 500 odd 5-star reviews here, which is pretty awesome. So, if you need help with that, we'd love to have you as a customer. Cool. But first, check out the guides. There's lots of guides there and lots of information on the guides. Anonymous says, I'm opening my first company, Goat Development, and I'm having a problem. I'm not able to receive emails and send from my Google Workspace account. Can you help? Okay. Again, check our DNS guides. Check the DNS guides or jump onto a quick fix, and our team will be able to help you with that. Okay, Randall asks, my Google Workspace email has been suspended, and in turn I can't verify my domain. I was sending and receiving emails for the first 1 to 2 weeks of signing up, but the domain and the domain is showing as verified. My subscription is set as Business Plus and my payments have gone through. Thoughts on the issue? That sounds bizarre. I'm confused because this person's saying they can't verify their domain, but the domain is showing as verified. This sounds like a bug to me. If this is a bug, I'm sure my team can fix it. We would contact Google support on your behalf, have them look into the back end of your account, have it escalated to a senior engineer, and if there is something wrong with your account, They can usually fix those things reasonably easily. That's how I would approach the issue. You could switch to a secondary domain, delete this problematic domain, wait an hour, re-add the problematic domain, and see if things work again. That's another approach if you want to have a go at it yourself. I've not heard of these features being buggy. Managing multiple domains on an account, adding and removing, as long as your DNS is correct and you've got all the extra stuff like SPF, DKIM, all the other more technical DNS features are enabled and configured correctly. And then, of course, is your account up to date and paid up to date? Triple check that it's just not something obvious. Then it should work. I've never seen it fail if you've got all those things configured. So I'm curious to see what's going on with that one. Okay, when creating an alias, it asks to verify the domain and identify the host. Can we purchase the domain by Google Squarespace, or do we have to purchase it elsewhere, maybe Shopify? If you want to add domain names to Google Workspace, either through your Gmail mailbox for outgoing mail, if you want to use like an outgoing gateway or an outgoing alias that sends to another server, or if you want to add a domain name to your admin panel as an alias domain or an add-on domain, so it sits inside Google Workspace and works for all of your customers, all of your mailboxes, all of your staff. It doesn't matter where you buy that domain name from. Your domain name is your property. You buy it through a domain name registration provider, and you can do whatever you want with that domain name. It doesn't have to go into Google in any special way. It's not at the behest of Google just because you add it to their systems. Apart from, of course, the lock-in and the needing to migrate data if you want to change to another provider. But that's not what the question is here. The question is here is, do you have the freedom of purchasing your domain name where you want? Yes, you absolutely do. You can purchase your domain name with any domain name registration provider. Our recommendation is Cloudflare, especially if you have a .com, because they sell domain names at cost price, and they've got an amazing free web firewall and online site caching service. It's called a CDN, or a content delivery network. And that basically helps to speed up your website, block nasties that are trying to hack in, and it's an excellent service even on the free tier. So that would be my recommendation if you've already got a domain name and or a domain name idea and you want to register it and then point it to Google Workspace. That's a great way to do it. The other cool thing about Cloudflare is if you register a domain name with Cloudflare and you have it sitting with Cloudflare's DNS, then you have one button ClickUps available for Workspace. So if you want to go through the setup wizard and you need to put in MX records and you're wondering what they are, or text records to verify the domain name, you can just click one button and it'll automatically set those records into Cloudflare for you. Pretty impressive, huh? Definitely is. I love it. All right. Cool. Let's see what we have next. Can Google Workspace be used offline? Yes, absolutely. Mail works offline. Calendar works offline. Drive works offline. Documents work offline. You need to enable it in each one of those apps. So you typically will go to the settings, find the general tab, and enable offline mode. Offline mode for Google Drive is best done through the Google Drive app, because you can just click one button in your Finder or Windows Explorer and have a folder saved offline permanently. But it also works in the web too. If you're working on Google Documents, you can just load up your Chrome browser, synchronize your account to the Chrome browser, and then opt in to keep a copy of your files offline, meaning that the next time you're on a flight and you want to work on a document, I know it's not the most exciting thing to do when you're flying over the world, but it is an option for you to work offline as needed. All right, cool. Just a couple more questions to go. Reasons for a Google Workspace account being suspended. If your Workspace account is suspended, or you fear that it's suspended, it's a good idea to have a think about what some of your actions you may have taken on your Workspace account. Now, there's a bunch of legitimate reasons for Google to suspend accounts, which I fully agree with. And there are some other reasons that I think are a little bit frustrating. The legitimate reasons are if you're sending masses of bulk emails from your account that look like spam, even if they technically aren't spam, large amounts of bulk email are potentially going to raise red flags with Google. They have sending limits set up so that you don't send to too many people, basically. And it's really designed to be an email service that does some light mass mail, but is primarily person to person most of the time, because it's just way too easy for people to exploit if Google leaves the door wide open for people to send as many emails as they want to. Now, what else might cause you to get an account suspended? If you've got explicit content, if Google thinks there's something illegal in there, if you don't pay your bill, why else would they suspend an account? They may suspend an account if you've got a malicious third-party plugin that was connected to your account and started siphoning data or scamming people, or Google sees that your password has been leaked online. It may choose to lock down the account until you change your password, just for your own safety and your own precaution. So many reasons Google might switch off your account. Try not to do anything silly. Try not to do anything silly. Okay, cool. So I just got a live question in from Jai. Thanks so much for being on the live stream, Jai. Great to have you here. In Shared Drive, when I'm working with staff for separate projects, each project something to be shared but not estimate. For that, separately another folder has to be created outside the DRGS folder to restrict them. Folder management for 10 projects. Interesting. Okay. I'm assuming here that some project documents are for internal or restricted use, and some project documents are for external use. My recommendation for that is to create 2 shared drives for each client, one for internal, one for external. You may even have to create a third one, which is just for management or executives related to that client. Now, is it a bit more annoying? Yes. But what that does do is it makes it really simple for your staff. They know that if it's something that's internal only, goes in the internal folder for that client. If it's external, it means this is going to be exposed to the customer. So that's a simple system. There's no real theoretical limit on shared drives. If there is, it is in the thousands or tens of thousands. So don't worry about creating too many shared drives for Google to handle unless you have 10,000 employees. But this is a good opportunity for you to learn the settings of Google Shared Drives and configure them correctly. Now, if you want to learn about that, we've got some pretty great videos on the channel specifically around shared drives. So if you head to the channel and you search for shared drives, you'll see we've got a number of different guides here on how to set up all of your group-based permissions, how to apply them to your shared drives, and what my best practices are for configuring the settings of shared drives. So go ahead, check those out on the channel. They're all very, very useful. Okay, great question though. All right, we've got just a couple more. Anonymous says, I migrated my emails to Neo platform and I want to put it back to Google. Can you assist or point me in the direction of instructions? They made it so easy to move, but their support kicked me to the curb. Well, you should have stayed with Google. If you want to migrate emails back into Google, you can use the migration tools that Google has. They're available in the admin panel. You can point it to your mail server. It'll suck the emails into Google. It's a bit buggy from time to time. We use different third-party tools, and of course we have a professional service managing this from end to end. So if you want to do a migration, it's very affordable. Head to our website, itgenius.com. Have a chat to one of our consultants, and they'll happily scope up the work to get this done for you. And don't fear, if you're a sole trader, we've got special discounts available that are not on the website, by the way, for sole traders to get access to preferential pricing. But for any small business, we try and make this as affordable as possible so that it is accessible, because we believe that business owners should be growing their business, not getting bogged down in IT. Great question. Okay, cool. That's my little pitch for our migration services. Okay, as a HIPAA compliant user, I just stepped up to the enterprise plan as a solo user to achieve client-side encryption. I'm wondering what other features the enterprise plan offers. Great question. I would recommend you check out, I don't know if the webinar's up, but let me have a look here. On-site helper. But this is a second brand that we own. It's effectively a subsidiary of itGenius. I reckon have a look at one of these webinars or videos. Perhaps this one here, Unbeatable Cybersecurity. I'm going to go and drop the link into my chat here. I would say go ahead and check out some of those videos which cover the enterprise plan and enterprise features. So we cover things like data loss prevention or DLP. We cover some encryption stuff. We cover SMIME, which is email encryption and additional email authentication services. Lots of different things. You can even get like a little verified badge on your email if you've seen some of those little blue ticks that come through to your email. Yeah, that's all done via the Google Enterprise Plan. Check out our other video on that. And if you've still got questions about it, then either send them through to our team, or you can go ahead and drop them here with this QR code, or you can head to ask.itgenius.com. That's ask.itgenius.com. All right, I'm going to say ciao for now. If you need some help, head along to itgenius.com. Book in for a free consultation if you haven't yet already. Our team are there and ready to rock and roll. If you want to lock in some good pricing before Christmas rolls around, and next year we will inevitably have additional price rises as it happens, as the business grows, as the economy changes. So jump in while you can, get a good deal on Concierge, or if you just need something small done, why not try out a quick fix with the team to get your small projects or small tasks done and done. Okay, cool. Happy holidays from Ali, our #1 fan. I think there's a gentleman in he's from Scandinavia somewhere. I think you're going to have to fight him for #1 fan. But Ali, I'll definitely give you the crown for #1 live stream fan because you're always here. Thanks so much for being here. Redeeming Love, another commenter here. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you guys being on the live. It's great to have you here. Always great to get your questions. It makes it more interesting for me. Yeah, remember, drop in a comment, say hello. When we put new videos out, if they're useful, please give them a thumbs up. Make sure you're subbed, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers.